Hi, and welcome to another video on the Vision and Reporting tool. In this video, we're going to go over slicers. Slicers are visual filters that dynamically filter the data at runtime and make the dashboard more effective and interactive. Now, the scope of the influence that slicers have on the dashboard includes the scenarios that are on the same page of the dashboard and use the same data set. So let's get started. Let's talk for a second about what slicers are available to you. The label slicer allows you to apply a filter to a data attribute in the data set. The multi-dimensional slicer enables you to add a filter to multiple data attributes in a single slicer. The chosen attributes are displayed in a hierarchical order within a list, and you can build a hierarchy tree using the following options in the data binding panel: multi-dimension, parent-child, hierarchy. Now, the multi-dimensional dropdown, pretty much the same, except these are built in within a drop-down, and you use the same panel, multi-dimensions, parent-child, hierarchy. Now, the data range slicer allows you to apply a filter to any measure in the data set and displays the data that meets that specific range, 5,000 to 10,000. The date range slicer, it allows you to apply a time-based filter to any date attribute in the data set. It supports filtering with various graduates of year, quarter, year, month, and date and time. All sales between April 1st and April 30th. And the relative date slicer allows you to filter a data set depending on the relative data date and chosen attribute, last 30 days. So let's get started. I think the best way to show you how to use slicers is to create a dashboard using slicers. So create dashboard and slicers, third one down, and let's grab a label slicer. A multi-dimensional slicer, a drop-down multi-dimensional slicer, a data range slicer, and a date range slicer. We'll just do those right there. And then let's have a chart so you can show the interactiveness of this. And we'll do a side chart. All right, so we have our slicers now, and let me see if I can make that a little bit smaller, then make it bigger. There you go. Okay, so we added these items, and now I'll just kind of drag them over a little bit to make them look a little bit nicer. And I'll put the date range under this one, and that's fine. And raise that up. Again, just kind of showing you how you can mess with the things and make them look prettier. And let's go ahead and make this bar chart to here and over to here. And that should give us what we need. Okay, so now we have our slicers, but we have bound them to no data. So let's go ahead and just start left to right. So the label slicer, let's try a lead source. So I first need to select my data set, and you should only have one there. And then once your items come up, you select whatever you are working on. So I'm going to use leads for this demonstration. So leads, and then I'm going to use lead source for a showing off. So I'm dragging this up here, and I put it into the columns. And then I actually will change the name of that also for us. So lead source, and then the different lead sources that are available there. And now for the data range slicer, let's actually use profit that we get from these leads. So deals from leads, unit profit. Oop, make sure I messed up there. Select the slicer first, then select the field. So deals from leads and unit profit. Okay, so for the multi-dimension, We'll actually use lead source type for both of those. That should show that off fairly nicely. So again, I'm going down to leads, taking the elevator down, and lead source type. So select slicer again, and then your data set. And I'm going to use lead source type. And I'll use the same one for the multi-dimension dropdown. So you can see the difference. And again, lead source type. Last but not least, the date range slicer. So if you noticed, I selected the slicer first, then I selected the data set I wanted to work on, and then I selected the table that I want to get the fields from. So in this instance, for this one, lead created date. And last but not least, the data that we want to look at. So I'm selecting the R chart. I'm selecting the data set. We'll work off the leads table again, and we'll do a count of the lead source. Then our axis will be the lead source. And then our legend will be the type. And actually, I'm going to do some filtering here because we have a lot of stuff in there. So add a filter. First manufacturer. Take the elevator down. Website inquiry. And RV Trader. Show. And that should be good enough. And apply. Just getting it down to it's a little bit more easy to see the data in there. And actually, let's sort it from most to least. So A to Z, add sort, descending, apply and OK. And actually, I hit it wrong. I hit alphabetical order. I don't want alphabetical. So let's get rid of that. I want it by the count. So add source. Value. The count of lead source, and now descending. And apply and OK. And that's how I want it. The most on top, down to the least on the bottom. Alrighty. So in reference, again, we grabbed our slicers. These 6 different slicers here. We used 5 of them. We dragged them over. Then we clicked on each slicer one at a time, went over to data, this data little icon here, and bound that slicer to a field in a file, and you get to pick the file. So I used lead source in the label. I used unit profit from the deals file here. I use lead source type in both of the multi-dimensions, the one that shows you the blocks right here and the one that is a drop down to see the items, and then the lead creation date. So let's hit preview. Okay, and let's see how each one works. So if I click on first manufacturer, the bar chart is showing that all the leads for first manufacturer. We had 172 of them. I want to clear. That's what this little button up here does, or icon, clear selection. I want to see, I'll do this one over here. This is the drop down one. Manufacturer's referral. Take the elevator down a little bit. And show event. And web lead. And now I see those items. So hopefully you're seeing as you touch a slicer or you manipulate a slicer, then it manipulates the graph or graphs. You can have many charts down here and it would be affecting all of them. Unit profit. I want to see all the leads that accounted profit. And let's just take this down to here. So 91,000. I think that'll change the things a little bit. And then we only had the unit profit here. So again, you can look at your leads, what profit it got from you. Or again, this is a data range slicer. So the range of data between the minimum and then the maximum was $91,000. And last but not least, let's go ahead and clear this slicer. And let's actually go ahead and select all, and we're in all, and do the date range. Date range is probably going to be one of the more popular ones you use. You hit the date range here, and what I think is going to be the most popular is this here. Hit the right arrow, and then you have both sides of the coin. So I want to see all the, so I'll go back to December 2021, but whatever date range you pick. So from 12/1/2020 to 4/2/2020, and I can obviously go back. So to December 26, and you click OK. And again, watch the bar chart change. So that is the beauty of slicers. Get to know them, play with them, and one just gives you a label. So all three of these are the same, kind of the same. This is a label slicer that shows you the individual items, and you just click on them one at a time. And if you have two slicers going at once, you're seeing all the leads that came in during this date range. We have two slicers going on at the same time. So your label slicer will display your labels like this. Your lead source will show you everything. This is the multi-dimension. Your multi-dimension drop-down will allow you to hit the drop-down and you select whatever you want to. So let me go back to all over here. Or I could have cleared the filter, either one. The multi drop-down will show you the different drop-downs available to you. And then lead creation date. Again, this is probably one of the more popular ones. If you hit the collapse, then you just see the one window, but you open it up like here and you see both windows. And you could do year, you could do, I want to see all from 2017 to 2021. And then again, you just see the item up here and you see everything change down here. So Slicer is pretty cool. And that's all there really is to it. And I thank you very much, and you have a good day.